Hey, True Crime Junkies, this is Melena speaking, and today I'm going to be discussing Paighton's case with Katie. We want you to understand that this is simply a casual conversation between two admins of the group who are close friends. We recorded it to let you all know where our thought process is on the case. Paighton went missing December 20th, 2019. According to reports, she was last seen leaving the tin-roof bar in Birmingham, Alabama, leaving with two heavy-set black men. There was apparently a text sent that night from Paighton that said, "I don't know who I am with, so if I call, please answer. I feel in trouble." After a 2-week search on January 3rd, her body was found outside an abandoned home. Her body was wrapped in fabric, and she was buried in a shallow grave. Hi, Katie. How are you tonight?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, so I think it's important that we reiterate this is a casual conversation between two friends, and you might hear our kids in the background or our dogs barking.
Yes.
Just ignore it.
Yes.
Okay, so Paighton's case kind of struck home to a lot of people. I think it's traveled the world.
Agreed. She's from a small town, from what I understand. And she was very lovable and a sweet girl, from my understanding.
Yeah, when I first saw the picture of her, she just, her family keeps describing her as full of life and just beautiful spirited, and you could see that from the picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay,
so she was from Trustville, Alabama. She was last seen at the Tin Roof Bar, which is located at 2700 block of 7th Avenue South.
I think the address is 2709 7th Avenue.
Okay. And the reports initially said she left at about 10:45 p.m. on Friday, and she was with two heavy-set black men.
That is what is being said. However, I have not found any proof. Law enforcement has not came out and said anything about any kind of footage that I'm aware of. They said that they were looking at surveillance cameras from around the area. And from my understanding, there's only one camera inside the bar, and that's behind the bar. And that's pretty typical for bars because if there's alcohol involved and, you know, the cash registers and safety of the employees. So.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a catch-22 because maybe there were people there who didn't go up to the bar.
Right.
There's supposedly footage from another building outside, and the reports I saw said that what is shown does not match up to what was reported. So I don't know if that means that they just couldn't verify it or if that they actually saw something other than the statement. And I thought I read from Paighton's mom, tell me if I'm wrong, but she said that Paighton's sister texted her coworker Grace to figure out what was going on. And Grace said she left at this time. She was with these people. She sent the text message to Grace. All that came from Grace, right?
Apparently that is who the text message came from, of when Paighton, or when the text that Paighton had sent of, "I don't know who I am with, so if I call, please answer. I feel in trouble." That was from Grace. That's all speculative right now, though. Law enforcement has been tight-lipped.
The reports came from what Grace told Paighton's family. So Grace is the one who reported that she left with two heavy-set black men.
From my understanding, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought, too. It's interesting how this is unraveling.
There's a lot to be unraveled, I believe, and everybody keeps saying, you know, I don't know if Grace is innocent or guilty. I'm not even going to put my feelings out there because I'm not swayed one way or the other. I'm pretty open-minded at this point. But law enforcement hasn't given us anything. So we know that the body was confirmed to be Paighton's, and we know that she was in a shallow grave. wrapped in some kind of fabric. But other than that, they've been pretty tight-lipped. And no family thinks that their loved one has murdered people, you know, like Ted Bundy. I'm sure his family had no clue what he was doing, you know?
Yeah. So basically it could be or it couldn't be, and it's pretty 50-50 because we haven't really found anything
I think what she's done
is speculation.
Right. I think what she's done is kind of suspicious, but, you know, we've been following true crime for a long time, and we see this stuff happen all the time.
Suspicious.
And, you know, nothing really surprises me anymore with this kind of stuff. And, you know, just a few weeks ago, you know, we had the Heidi Browder case, and everybody crucified Shane. He was guilty. And, you know, grabbed their pitchforks because they thought he was guilty. And
see, I feel like we learned some prior cases. Like, I knew that I didn't jump on that bandwagon right away because I felt like we've watched a lot of missing people's cases and families pleading for help. And to me, in my heart, Shane was, like, he appeared to be genuine, but at the same time, I knew something seemed hinky, but I wasn't ready to say he did it, you know?
Right. And I think, you know, with cases like this from small towns, I think a lot of people follow true crime. But I think when a case hits close to home, you want to follow that case. And it brings out a lot of newbies. And a lot of people, they don't know how these groups are ran. You know, they don't understand the concept of, you know, everybody's going to have speculation and theory. We have to be respectful because we know nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people take it serious. Like, this is a serious matter, but I'm saying in the groups, they take what you're saying, what you're speculating, they're trying to assume that you pass it off as a fact rather than understanding that because there's nothing released right now, there's going to be so much speculation, so much theories. Everyone wants to know who did it.
Right.
So everyone, there has to be there has to be someone to point a finger at. If you know, I feel bad for the innocent people who become those people. It happens, but it also happens to guilty people.
Yeah, and don't ever post on social media if you don't want any kind of dirty laundry aired out. I mean, because if something like this happens, you don't ever think about something like this happening. But when
honestly,
it does,
when you get a case and you hear a name, what's the first thing you do with that name?
Oh, you Facebook it, and then I Google it, 20 pages deep to find information out,
Yep. And in Google, all social media comes up.
Right. And, we have Reddit forum, we have web sleuths, we have, 10,000s of Facebook crime groups. So it's just, and I think a lot of it is, me and you, we admin the True Crime Junkies page. So this is what we do. I mean, we follow these cases, and try to piece together the puzzle. And we know law enforcement is doing their job, but most of the time they don't come out and give us the facts right away. I think in a couple of groups we've released a lot of unknown information to the public, specifically in Tyler Davis's case out of Columbus, Ohio,
well, it took, 9 months for a press conference for Tyler? Was it?
Yeah. And, we were able to, release a lot of unknown information and at least get his case out there and heard of.
So Tyler has been missing for 10 months now. February 24th will be a year.
Yep.
And there's one press conference. So
yep, and it was a crappy one
everything.
at that.
Yep. Everything you have on that case is speculation.
Yep. We have a couple of sources that have checked out. We've also got an interview, with somebody who was with him that night that a lot of people believe is suspicious. But, it's just something that happens in crime groups. Crime groups are growing day by day and getting bigger, and everybody is nosy. I mean, I don't know one person that's not nosy. You know, if you see a cop car outside of your house, what do? You go and you look and see what's going on.
Did you see the meme of the guy? He was mowing his grass, and behind him there was like 7 cop cars arresting the neighbor, and the quote on it is, "I aspire to reach this level of not giving a F."
I didn't see that one. You'll have to send it to me later.
Oh, I will. It's funny. But, yeah, no, I totally understand exactly what you're saying. And so, yeah, it's nice when you have these groups because being nosy as a human nature makes us nosy. We want to know what's going on. And then we see these names. We see these people who are missing. We want to know where they are. We want to know their stories. We want to know the stories of their friends, of their family.
Right, what happened, who she was. Right.
In this group, not this group, I mean the group of people who collectively follow true crime, dig and dig and dig. So everything comes up eventually. So back to the beginning, don't post on social media if it's something you wouldn't want people to see.
Right. And, you know, you have to know their past to know what could have transpired, you know, the night any kind of crime had happened. You know, Paighton, she was in recovery of heroin, I believe. Do you remember exactly what it was? Was it heroin?
Heroin, yep.
And that could play a big part. She could have overdosed that night. And I'm saying could have. You know, we don't know what happened. We probably won't have toxicology back for at least 2 weeks. The autopsy should be done already. If not, it'll be done by Monday at the latest, I would assume.
I don't know if you saw, I posted in a group that one thing that I hate, the thing I hate most about addiction and addicts is that somebody could have been in recovery for 25 years and then somebody gives them a hot shot, which is somebody putting heroin into a syringe and shooting somebody else up with it. Somebody could do that to them, and the world would assume they relapsed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, if it comes out that Paighton overdosed, it doesn't make her a bad person whatsoever. You know.
Well, you have to look into also if that's, it would be hard for me to believe that that's the case because why put her in a shallow grave?
Yeah.
There's
going to be a lot that is uncovered with this case, and I think it's going to shock
people. I know
people.
they don't want to get in trouble, but
yeah, then why not just leave her where she was, or
exactly?
call
I think that's
for
the
help.
Humanity in us, you know.
Because you can leave anonymous
Some
tips,
people
you know,
just
saying,
lack
hey,
that.
Right, you know, you can call 911 and be like, hey, this, you know, chick is laying on the side of the road.
So how many stories have we seen where somebody was dropped off outside of an emergency room?
Yeah, and they drive.
You know what I mean?
The thing with emergency rooms now, though, is they have cameras everywhere. So a lot of people are hesitant to do that because, you know, they track the cars. You know, a lot of the cameras are very detailed anymore on the details of, you know, they can see inside of the vehicles themselves. So, and people don't want their face connected with that because if they were the ones that gave, you know, the heroin or, you know, the cocaine to
they'd
that
be charged
person,
with what,
right.
negligent homicide? Or it can it be a murder charge? I don't know if it can actually be a murder charge now or if it's just considered homicide.
I'm not sure. It probably varies, though, from state to state.
But, I mean, now, if they catch who did it, it's definitely, they're going to get tampering with a human corpse.
Oh, yeah,
and
for sure.
Concealing a crime, you know, and making her family worry for 2 weeks, Christmas, New Year's, you know what I mean?
2 weeks. That's what's crazy.
And I feel like whoever did this probably, like, if, I know there's a lot of speculation that her coworker was involved, and I feel like if she was, it was most likely an accident. I mean, I don't know, because there are crazy people, but I'd like to believe that it was most likely an accident. So, therefore, I believe she would have been acting very strange, or whoever did it would have been acting very strange if they have a conscience on Christmas and New Year's.
Devil's advocate, though, literally, what was it, 3 weeks ago, the Heidi Browser case. And I hate to bring it up because we're talking about Paighton's case, but her best friend murdered her and kept the baby. and she acted normal for 6 weeks until Heidi was found. So
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, some people are just crazy or evil.
Right. And, you know, that could have been the case, not the exact case, but, you know, maybe there was some kind of jealousy with, you know, the coworker and Paighton. Or maybe it was a complete accident. Maybe it was a different coworker, you know, because we don't actually know exactly who it was.
There was some speculation about each of their sexuality, whether they were interested in women or not. I mean,
I did see that.
I know Grace has a child. I mean, that I know that doesn't rule anything out. So if that was the case, then it could have been formed lovers or something.
Yeah, I read that they were previously in a relationship. This was coming from close friends of Paighton's, or they so-called close friends.
Yeah.
And I just want to remind everybody, we've been on this case for the past 24 hours nonstop researching. We have a huge team behind us, but, like, literally my life for 24 hours has been going through thousands and thousands of comments, Reddit, web sleuth, talking to anonymous sources. It's been very hectic and very crazy. So just remember that this is mainly speculative. We do have a couple of facts that we've laid out and claimed them to be facts. But for the most part, it's very speculative on he said, she said.
And at this point, I mean, that's all we got. They just found her body. They just confirmed it was her body. And that's pretty much the only thing that has been confirmed through the police. There have been comments made in various groups by Paighton's mother, Charlene. Is that?
I'm not sure that up here
mom
they have a
stepmom?
couple different ways. Yes, that's
pretty
her
sure
mother.
It's her bio mom, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
So the stepmom, Grace has the stepmom.
Yes, Grace is the one with the mom
and
the
her
stepmom.
real mom, both of which have been making comments on Facebook, we've found.
Yeah. Well, the stepmom deactivated along with Grace. And I'll be honest with you, it was the smartest decision they ever made. I am very nosy. I wish they wouldn't have, because I love digging into, you know, the cases like that. But it was very smart on their end to do that.
Well, I think it was ironic because it was right at the time where we were sending each other links and setting everything up, and we're like, screenshot this, screenshot that. And we were going to screenshot her profile, and then boom, it's done.
Yeah, I went to her profile because you had told me, you were like, she's going to delete her page. Go screenshot what you can. And I literally got like 5 screenshots, and then it refreshed, and I couldn't see it anymore.
Well, that's what we've learned from these cases, that
and it's super smart. If anything like this happens to you, deactivate right away. Do not,
a lot of
get a
people
fake
think
Facebook or something.
It makes you look guilty. But, I mean, imagine the harassment. You know, whether we don't know if she's innocent or guilty.
Yeah,
right on her Facebook.
Harassment.
And we want to remind our members that we do not condone that at all. In fact, it will result in an immediate ban. Do not comment on people's Facebooks and public posts. That makes them deactivate, and then we can't be nosy anymore.
Yep, and, you know, there is plenty of groups. You don't have to stay in ours. You can go to anybody else's group. Keep them in the closed group, you know, any comment. I mean, it's okay to speculate and, you know, discuss the case. It's normal, but going real life can be dangerous, and we do not want to put our members in danger at all. And it's just tacky, to be honest with you.
I mean, and especially the people, I feel like the people who feel compelled to comment on these profiles are locals. I don't know, I'm not going to say most of the time because I don't have statistics laid out, but I have seen people who are locals, like, ripping these people apart on their profiles. And it's like, at this point, all we have is speculation. How do you feel justified enough to go somewhere and, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have any facts saying that. I mean, she was the last person there. Or, no, that's wrong. she is the one who gave the statement of when she left, who she left with, etc. So, you know, she's always going to be looked at as a suspect just because that's how it rolls.
Right.
But that
well, there's a lot of closed-mind individuals that, you know, once they have their mind set on somebody, they will crucify them until somebody else
back
is.
To Heidi's case,
yeah.
Once it was found out that Megan did it, everyone was wondering how Shane was involved. Like, did he pay her? Did she pay him for the baby?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people had their mind made up that Shane was guilty.
Yep, I agree. And it'll be that way until, well, there's going to always be that person that, you know, believes that he had something to do with it. But in reality, you know, you have to keep an open mind with these cases. And we're going to release disturbing images later on. You know, I will file a request to get, you know, the crime scene photos. And we will be posting them. And a lot of family and friends, it's really hard to have them in the group because some of them aren't going to like it. They're going to think that we're being disrespectful. And that's not the case at all.
We try to warn people before this happens.
Yeah.
So that it's not just thrown in your face.
Yep.
We do warn people before we're releasing graphic images or...
Yeah, we usually give a 24-hour notice.
I feel like it's, I don't know, we want to tell everybody that there are things that we will discuss that may not be comfortable for you to listen to if Paighton was your close friend or if she is your family member. We discuss things that you may not want to think about. So, and it may be hard, and sometimes these groups just aren't made for some people because of that. And we, you know hard feelings. That's just how it is. I don't think that I could ever be in these groups if anything happened to someone in my family.
I'm not, but I would want to be. I'd want to know. I mean, I would just want to know. I mean, you know, my personal life, I had, and what's going on, I had to know what happened. So, you know, I had to request images, and, you know, I am just, like, I am that curious. And I usually regret it after I look at them, but, you know, it's just, like, curiosity gets the best of me. And I think that's a lot of what other people think, too, is, you know, they just want to know, you know. And the internet is the way of the world. So,
like, if it was a friend or, like, a not-so-close acquaintance, I would want to. But, I mean, like, if it was my fiancé or one of my parents or siblings, I don't think I could do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, if it was somebody really close to me, or if I was being looked at as a suspect especially, I wouldn't be able to read that stuff.
I think that would intrigue me more. And that's why, you know, this is good, because everybody is different, you know. And nobody is right or wrong, you know. You're not right or wrong for not wanting to look. I'm not right or wrong for looking, you know. And I think that's what a lot of people need to remember. You know, like, everybody is different. Everybody has their own tolerance level.
Super subjective and individualized.
But I do want to bring up, you know, jumping back to the bar scene, earlier today I seen a comment. I have not confirmed this at all. Apparently, the new speculation is Paighton's shoes were caught on camera leaving the bar. I don't know how that's possible without hitting her face, to be honest with you. But
it'd just be the angle of the camera. It would have been, her feet would have been caught in the top of the frame. And I know there was speculation that Paighton wasn't even at the bar, that somebody planted her debit card there.
Yes, I read that too.
Go along with their story.
I did read from the worker there, though. The worker there had posted under, I don't know which news article it was. She said that she had already contacted police, but the worker had found the debit card in the middle of the dance floor. So,
wait. No, I thought I thought it was a nurse who found it, and then she looked Paighton up on social media to see if she could see her in the bar. And then
I'm pretty sure it was the worker, because she said that she commented on there and said that it was, she had contacted PD already. I'm going to try to scroll through my screenshots. I doubt I find it, though, because I have so many. I don't remember where I seen it.
I think we talked about it in group. So anyways, the person who found it, whoever they were, they supposedly looked her up on social media to see if they could recognize her.
That is correct. About them looking it up on social media. Either way, it was found in the middle of the dance floor. Whoever it was contacted police already before posting it. And I'm looking through screenshots now, actually. I just want to say, like, this tin roof doesn't look like it's in a very good area to begin with.
The tin roof is like it's in a bad part of Birmingham?
Yes. I don't know. I've heard speculation that it wasn't a good place, but from my Google mapping earlier, it didn't look like it was a great part of town. And I did read some reviews, not just on Facebook, but on Google reviews, actually. And there was a lot of women that had said that it was basically a shithole. And there was 2 different people who said they had got their drinks, I don't know what they call it, spiked or whatever. What do they call that? My brain can't think.
Oh, like roofied?
Yeah. So there was 2 stories from 2 separate people about that for that exact bar. How true that is, I don't know. That's just what I read on. One of them was on Facebook, on the actual Tin Roof Facebook page, and then the other one was in the Google reviews.
Oh, gosh, okay. I wonder if that was, like, a frequent place they went. You know, like, I know a lot of people who prefer dive bars just because, like, the regulars are wholesome people. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and I there's going to be so much more that comes out. There is off-duty policemen that work there for security. So I'm wondering if they've seen something. You know, and obviously they know the law. They're not going to come forth and be like, hey, yeah, I seen Paighton leave this bar with so-and-so. You know, so I'm just kind of wondering, you know, if there was any witnesses that night.
Okay, so we know Paighton went out. She had her debit card and her phone based on the current story because she was able to text her friend. She lost her debit card, right? So then,
speaking of debit cards, before we go any further, I'll lose my train of thought. So there's a lot of speculation about when the card was used, when it wasn't. So I went back today and I looked at Paighton's mom's comments that she had made earlier. There was no activity after she went missing. That doesn't mean that she didn't buy a drink that night. She could have bought a drink that night. She said specifically, well, not just with cash, card. The statement had just said that there was no activity after she went missing. So I'm taking that as the days after. You know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, I took it as what I read was that I thought I read specifically she didn't even use her card that night, like at the tin roof.
That's not what I've read. There's a lot of stories, though.
Yeah, we have read so many comments and everything.
Yeah, it's been insane behind the scenes.
Okay, so what I was wanting to touch on was that we know she had her phone and her card. So what was left in her coworker's car?
I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've ever heard of that. coworker. I don't think I heard anything about that.
See, I read the comments. I think it was somebody said she left her purse and maybe work clothes or something in her coworker's car. And, you know, a lot of people were like, oh,
that would make sense.
Never leave my purse. But at the same time, a lot of people don't like to take their purse out with them, especially if you keep anything important. Like your wallet, does it have your Social Security cards? It shouldn't, but does it?
Right.
You know, you don't want people to swipe your stuff, so you leave it behind, especially if you're going to be drinking.
Right. Well, if you want to take a purse into a bar, you know.
Yeah, see, I didn't find that really suspicious. I was like, for me, that would be standard.
I agree. I don't find it super suspicious either. But, again, you know, people grasp at things in these groups. You know, they take everything literal. And sometimes it's just coincidence, you know.
Yes. Okay, I want to touch on the text message. I don't know who I'm with, so if I call, please answer. I feel in trouble. So, Grace didn't see that until the following day?
That is what I read.
Yeah, so
we don't know much about the text message. We don't.
Sent that supposedly, wasn't the text message supposedly sent 2 hours after she left, so around like 12:45?
Yes, it was definitely 2 hours. She left at 10:45, speculatively.
Yeah.
So that would put it around 12:45, 1 o'clock-ish.
So then we have the Facebook statement from Grace's stepmom, who says Grace left hours before Paighton did.
Right.
Okay, so how would she have known who she left with to tell Paighton's family had she really left hours before Paighton did?
Well, the only thing I can think of is, and we don't have the whole story, so from what I've taken from different people is that there was more than just one coworker there that night. And it could have been Grace had left the bar and there was another coworker that stepped behind and left after Paighton did and seen Paighton leave with those two men. And then that friend or coworker, you know, text Grace that. I mean, that's a possibility.
Agreed, yeah.
Sorry, going through screenshots to...
So, Grace's stepmom and Grace have had conflicting statements. So I guess that's another check against Grace. I don't know.
Right.
I know that's normal for a family to have conflicting statements, but in the eyes of the public, that's going to make her appear guilty.
Well, and the thing is I think what makes them even more suspicious is that the stepmom and the mom are super confident in what they were saying. You know, they were basically like, this is the story, this is how it goes, shut up.
100% beyond a doubt. Yeah, I saw that too.
And that was both of
her
them.
real mom, Allison, what I saw from her, basically it was just saying they've been harassed, everyone's a troll, wouldn't you delete your social media too? Yeah.
It was smart. I mean, I'll just keep saying it. I mean, they should have done it, you know, a long time when the speculation first came out, you know.
Yeah.
It would have made them look guilty, but no guiltier than what they are now. You know, well, I think they're even more guilty now.
My question is, none of this, well, I mean, I guess many people did suspect the coworker before Paighton's body was found, because I read of statements that Paighton's mom supposedly said that she's changed her story to them several times, and we believe she's guilty.
Yeah, I don't think I read it from Grace's mom specifically.
No,
Paighton's mom.
Paighton's mom.
What did I say?
Grace. That's why.
Yeah,
that's why I think the not witch hunt, but that's why I think the public shifted to, instead of looking for the suspects described, to looking at the coworker, and then the body was found. And then all the rumors started circulating that the body was found in the yard of an older gentleman who's been in a nursing home for a couple months.
Yes,
and that older gentleman is supposedly either Grace's grandpa or Grace's child's father's grandpa, so her child's great-grandpa paternally. We haven't found anything to support that, correct?
No, I have looked for countless hours. Literally, I have been breathing this case for, well, about 2 days now, but like religiously the past 24 hours. And I consider myself a pretty good sleuth, and I have not found any connection whatsoever to Grace, her family, her baby daddy, boyfriend, husband, ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, whatever you want to call him. No connection whatsoever. I do know that William Hampton is the owner currently of the house, and I can tell you that there was tenants there named the last name of Baskins. I do not want to throw their first names out because I don't want to drag their names through the mud.
Well, what's interesting about those two is that the male resident, his time at 215 Capitol Drive ended in 2013, correct?
Yes.
And the female was 2018. So Mr. Hampton he'd only lived there for a short time.
I don't.
He's an older gentleman.
He is an older gentleman.
His family put him. Supposedly I have seen both that he lives with family, and that he has been admitted into a nursing home.
So, current resident for 215 Chapel Drive, William Hampton. He was first seen there November 1st, 2006. He was last seen there January 2nd, 2020. However, this is TruthFinder. It's not always completely accurate. That's just what we base our search off in the beginning with, and then we kind of roll with it from there. The lady that lives there, Baskins, she was there from 03 to 18. And then there's actually, okay, so this part wigs me out, and I have not been able to figure it out. So there is 2 William Hamptons. Again, this is TruthFinder. I have not been able to find any kind of connection with Paighton case. However, there's 2 William Hamptons that have lived in that house, and one of them is older, and then there was one that was a little bit younger, but I want to say he was in his 60s. I don't have the screenshot on me right now.
You know what? It probably was an Elias. Like, it's his same name, and he used it, but for some reason the age is different, so it started as 2 people. You know what I'm saying?
It's possible. I mean, it's very possible. But the wicked thing is that...
Unless they were brothers.
Well, I was thinking father-son or something along that line, but brothers could have been possible too. But anyways, the wicked thing is that the William Hampton that is linked on the TruthFinder account actually has a felony of assault by strangulation. And he was convicted for it in October 8th of 1993.
Okay, so that's a while ago. I mean, he's older now.
Right.
I don't think they think that he's a suspect, right?
No, not at all. But I found it odd because it's like the same house, you know, and Paighton was down there. But again, all speculation. TruthFinder is not always right. But I found it very wicked.
Did you see on TruthFinder, because I do know, well, I saw that people had noted the owner of the house was African American.
Yep.
I wonder if he has any relatives that would fit the description of the men he supposedly left with.
I don't know. I can tell you, though, that I've searched endlessly for the Underwood guy or some kind of connection with him, which is Grace's baby daddy. And there is absolutely no connection with him that we can find. I have, me and another team member have looked tirelessly for some kind of connection to give our followers, and there's just nothing. There is the lady and the gentleman that live there. There is not a tie, but what's weird is that supposedly the gentleman that lives there is in a gang. I have not really confirmed that. Apparently,
are we talking about the recent? Okay.
According to his face, but you know, so many people say, I'm in this gang, I'm in that gang, blah, blah, blah.
So, wait, is it possible that the Baskins owned the house and rented it to Mr. Hampton, and they still own the house and they would know it was abandoned?
No, because somebody had pulled up the property taxes that are delinquent, and it was under Hampton's name.
Earlier I had said that they moved out, their address has changed from that address, 5-year difference. But their next address matches each other.
So what's weird is the next address for them is right around the block, basically. It's in the street over on 9th Avenue.
Yeah.
Where?
Still in Bessemer, Alabama.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's kind of all like a mind-boggling thing right now.
And we should know that the Baskin male is only 45.
Right. He's not heavy set, though. I looked at the pictures. Nor do I think anybody could mix him up for heavy set. So
what about the Brown brothers?
I'll be honest, I haven't had time to look into them. I did see some speculation about them.
Is that everything is basically super speculative and nothing ties them to this other than they're on the run because they were wanted for murder.
Oh, well, that's shocking because I've not looked into that. So I am going to, when we get off, look into that now.
I mean, from what I've seen, it doesn't look, and these guys are not heavy set. They are twiggy.
Right.
I mean, just saying, sorry if you're listening. I'm sure you're handsome, and I'm sure your mugshot doesn't do you justice. But
so, are they in a prison for more?
No, or they're on the run.
They're on the run. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look into that because
and there was a picture posted of somebody this morning who was supposedly on the porch of the house Paighton was found in. And the last I was looking into it, people were trying to match that person up to one of the Brown brothers, but it wasn't successful. He apparently was much younger at the time. It didn't match up. So that's where I left off.
Like an old picture or like a Google map image?
No, it was a picture taken of a young African-American man. I believe he was holding 2 parts of a gun, like it was taken apart. Maybe he was cleaning his gun or something. I don't know. Around here, that's all we do, I swear. There's so much snow, all we have to do is stay inside and clean our guns.
But when was the picture taken?
I mean, yeah, so I think it would have been, it was before the house was abandoned, and the porch didn't look, like, super dilapidated. Like, did you see the pictures recently of the house? Like, it looked super dilapidated, the trash.
Yeah, and what's weird is, like, it happened quickly. I've seen images of that house last year, and it did not look that bad. So it's got to be.
I just have to say, I have seen so many people say how shameful it is that she was buried underneath trash and around it and everything, and I agree wholeheartedly. But the silver lining, like, I just followed the Kelsey Barris case, and they searched tirelessly in a landfill for her and didn't find her. She's been missing over a year, and they don't know where she's at. I mean, I think Paighton being found and brought home to her family.
Agreed.
Even though that was the spot, I mean, it's a horrible spot.
It's not a blessing.
There's a silver lining.
Yeah, it's not a blessing, but in a sense it is, because that family, or Paighton's family, gets closure at least, and they get to go and grieve now. Because that's the
and
next
now they
process
get to
for them
start
is
figuring
grieving.
out what happened.
Right.
I mean, now they can start piecing it together. There will be evidence on her body. There will, you know what I mean? They'll get answers that people who still, their people are still just missing.
And speaking of Kelsey Barrett's case, Patrick was convicted without a body. So I have full confidence in law enforcement to be able to find out what happened and who did this to Paighton. It may you know, but I think that there will be answers in the end.
Yes. No, Patrick was convicted without a body and with hella circumstantial evidence. Like, the blood spatter expert testified, not based on actual blood spatter, but based on where the mistress who cleaned up the scene, so she says, claims there was blood spatter.
Right.
So it was super weird. Like, watching that, I just had a pit in my stomach because I was like, there's no way they're going to find him guilty. I mean,
I agree.
Anthony walked, O.J. Simpson walked, Patrick Swayze is going to walk. And then it came back guilty. The best part about that is that Kelsey's family got to celebrate the year anniversary of her going missing, knowing that he is in prison for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
It came,
bad case.
I mean, how often do you see these viral cases? Normally, they take 6 years to go to trial. Or not 6 years, but many years.
It's crazy.
Unless
was
there's
convicted
a confession before the year. No, he was convicted by jury before the year anniversary. And without a body. I think that's incredible. I give major props to Dan May. He is a beast.
Yeah. I have confidence in law enforcement. They might seem like they're slacking because they're not giving out information, but I promise you that it's for the best.
They can compromise, like, if there is a trial. I mean, there has to be a trial. She was buried.
Right.
But, unless someone pleads guilty,
well,
but they can't
also
compromise it.
I can also tell you that we accept the members and we vet each member out. And we have law enforcement officers inside of our group that watch everything. And they are very open with us on who they are. We will not out them whatsoever. But
we've been contacted, like, on cases. I'm not going to get specific because I don't want anyone, whatever. We keep our sources very, very private. But there's been officers who don't like the way a case is going, and they think that our type of groups, these type of groups, can apply pressure. So they have given us things to release that obviously wouldn't compromise the integrity of a future trial. Because right now, what they're doing on Paighton's case, their end goal is a guilty conviction. So they are doing everything with that outlook in mind. How can we preserve this evidence to make sure whoever did this is found guilty? So, it's tireless. I give them lots of props. I couldn't imagine doing that job. The worst one was the Chris Watts case when they found his daughters in the drums of oil. Yeah. I could not imagine.
To get them out. Heartbreaking. Absolutely.
And those babies, I could not imagine having to be the person to do that. Because, you're doing something good and you're bringing somebody
closure
close to the family. You're bringing them back home. But at the same time, that is going to stay with you and haunt you for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah. I guarantee you the people who did that are going to be suffering for, if not a long time, for the rest of their life.
Yeah. And I don't know if you get like this, but sometimes from following these cases and seeing this every day, like following everything so tirelessly and just seeing all the worst parts of humanity day in and day out, like sometimes I get burnt out and I just need to laugh.
Yes, and that is another thing. Take a break off the pages every once in a while. Get your mental health back in, good standing, because it's going to be a long ride. Unless somebody comes out and confesses, it's going to be a very, very long process. It is not like
look at pictures of kittens.
Yeah,
Like, you need to see some happy stuff once in a while.
Yeah, take a break, spend it with your family for a day, or even a half a day, Just
hug your people.
Yep, it's crazy. It's not so bad the first week, but after the first week, it's tiring for us, and we're working behind the scenes, so we get more exhausted with the cases quickly. But we have such a big team that we're able to be like, hey, I'm taking a break, and then the next person takes a break. So, we're always on the page, always trying to get, the next information out. But it is very important for people to take breaks. I can't stress that enough.
No, I know. And so could you imagine, like, being in the field? I couldn't imagine this being my actual job. Like,
this is why I'm an internet.
It's so
I
much
couldn't
different.
do it in real life.
Okay, so us sitting behind the screens looking at crime scene pictures versus the person there taking those pictures. You know what I mean?
No.
They're just so amazing, such amazing people. And all these people come together in a web, and they bring justice. And we are going to see justice for Paighton. Whether or not it was accidental or intentional, she was buried. So there has to be consequences. She was hidden from her family 2 weeks. So there has to be consequences.
Oh, there will be.
Might I add, I hope they are severe.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's not a plea deal.
She's our age, She's our age. She's Kelsey's age. She's just a young person.
I'll be honest, it's so disturbing. Like, the past few months has been one after another case of heart-wrenching cases, and I think the first one, the past 3 actually, or 4. So we had Casey Jones out of Florida, whose husband brutally beat her with a baseball bat and then murdered their 4 children. Or he murdered her 2 children from another father, and then their 2 kids together. He murdered all of them and dumped them on the side of the road and was caught by getting into an accident. And then right after that, it was Heidi. And then we just found out about a case, Monica. And
Monica Moynihan.
It's not getting a lot of traction, but it's a super sad case that we're following closely.
Well, and with Monica, they pretty much know. They know who did it.
Oh, absolutely. They just have to.
Like, if this was in Heller County, Colorado, that man would have been arrested a month ago.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the issue is that he ran off from North Carolina to Virginia. I mean, as soon as, he was interviewed by police that first time, he took off. So
that's
I think
the same as Gypsy Kalungi out of Colorado. She's from the Philippines, and she went missing, and her husband went to California to stay with his dad, and last I heard is that he is still on the run.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But, I mean,
I hope all of them get justice. I mean, we know for a fact that Casey and Heidi will get justice because there's way too much proof on Heidi's case, and Michael Jones admitted to everything. He confesses, and he did that right away, as soon as the cops got there.
It's nice because he doesn't have a bargaining chip, and he's in Florida, so it's probably going to be a death penalty case.
Agreed. And there's no insanity plea because he was definitely sane when doing that.
Yeah.
And Megan's is a little bit different, or Heidi's case is a little bit different because Megan, I do think she has some kind of mental issues upstairs. I mean,
you have to. Milena, I have been your friend for less than a year. I feel like I've known you my entire life. You are my best friend, and I could never imagine taking you out and stealing your baby.
Yeah.
Like, your kids, I love them, and they're beautiful, and I hug them, and, I'd always treat them like
you can
my
come
own.
Steal them anytime. Just don't kill me.
And
don't kill them either, but
23 years of friendship.
I don't do what?
It said 23 years of friendship between Megan and Heidi.
I don't understand it. There's got to be some issues, and it's all going to come out eventually. But anyway, back to Paighton. I don't know why we keep getting sidetracked, probably because, you know, we are best friends. And
that's us.
This is how we roll usually. Yep. Looking at the bullet points, though.
Basically, like we said, all we have, the body was found, 215 Chapel Drive. In the yard, it's been set on the side of the house, in the backyard, under the trash, in the woods. Regardless, it was found in the yard of that address. Yeah. She was wrapped in cloth or sheet or fabric, buried in a shallow grave.
Yep, that's pretty much the only fact that has came out since she was found. I mean, they're going to be tight-lipped for now. More things will come out. As soon as the autopsy report is done, it'll be released to the public, unless they put a seal on the case for 30 days, which has happened in cases. But I don't see that happening because there's not a suspect or even a person of interest at this time that we know of. So,
let's remind our members that while there isn't very much officially being released, if you're close to this situation, we take our anonymous submissions very seriously. We will always keep our sources private. Before we release information submitted by anonymous sources, we do our very best to check it and make sure that we're not releasing this drama, that we're actually releasing information that can be verified. If it can't, we might still release it, but we'll know this was anonymously submitted. While we can't verify it, we wanted you to know.
Speaking of anonymous, we did get an anonymous message today. You can go ahead and read that since I've done a lot of talking.
Okay. So this was an anonymous member submission via the Paighton case. Anonymous says, I don't want this information to be tied to me, but there is some misinformation on the group that I would like to clear up. Christy Cross is not Grace Cross's mother. She is her stepmother, which I think is an important distinction. Also, I can verify that Paighton was in recovery from addiction via a 12-step program at one point, but I have no idea if she was maintaining her recovery at the time she was at the Tin Roof. Okay, so Grace's stepmom is not Christy. Her real mom, who we discussed commenting on various pages on Facebook, is Allison Ray. That's her name on Facebook, correct?
Yes.
And she has put herself out there as Grace.
She has. Both people have put themselves out there, which is why we're using their names. Usually we try to use last names to give them some kind of privacy, even though everybody pretty much knows them. However, they have outed themselves openly to the public on public posts, so we are comfortable releasing their names.
Exactly. We would never throw someone under the bus if it wasn't already out there, unless it's information that we feel is relevant. We don't want people attacking people, going on their profiles.
Right. Well, and if we do, it's completely accidental. Sometimes it's hard, to keep things separate. But usually we're texting or typing and not talking like we are now. So usually there's not many mistakes coming from us.
So
go ahead.
The rehab facility that she was at, that was the Christ Health Center.
Yes.
And they have, is it on their website? There's information, and Paighton had wrote her recovery story. So if you look up the Christ Health Center, you can find what she says. Basically, she discusses the doctor who saved her life and her faith.
And they actually have a Facebook video, too, of her talking about her recovery. which is a public post, by the way. We would never post something that's private like that without her parents' permission. However, it was publicly posted on the Christ Health Center's website, which is why we did a watch party in the group earlier. So, just because we caught a little bit of flack for that earlier about posting it in the group, I do want to reiterate that it was a public post. I would never post that kind of personal stuff on the page without the
basically, if you can go to Google and find it, you're going to find it in our group.
Yep. And as long as we get permission, we'll post anything, that we find relevant to the case. I mean, we're not going to post a picture of a dead dog that could have been Paighton's 10 years ago, because it's not relevant. But
yeah, no, we definitely try to keep it relevant and to respect families' wishes. Like in Ethan's group, we caught hell because his family didn't want certain things released.
Yep, and that's their right. I respect that. I have a very close connection with one of Ethan's friends, and I shouldn't say connection. I should say a very close
rapport. You have developed a positive rapport.
Yeah, with one of his best friends, and I would never betray his trust ever. If he does not want something released or his family released, it will never come out of my mouth. And that's just how we roll here. You cannot build, a page like what we're trying to do if you do not have trust of your members. And it's something that we will never break.
We don't burn. We try not to burn bridges. I mean, if a bridge is burnt for us, fine, but we do our best not to burn bridges with people.
Yeah, and we are not a family support group. We are not, we are not going to make visuals for Paighton. We are not going to do meal plans. Like I caught flack in Messenger for not offering a meal plan up for Paighton's family. And I was like, I'm not a support group for Paighton's family. I feel terrible for what's happened. Terrible.
If there's a GoFundMe that somebody else creates, we'll put it out there. If
as
there's
long
a registry
as
somebody creates,
verified.
If kids they leave behind. Yeah, if it's verified, we put it out there. But, we do our best to respect families' wishes.
Exactly.
But at the same time, we are going to discuss the case.
Right.
That's just how it is. We'll do our best to respect everybody involved, but we're going to discuss things.
Right. But I think that's pretty much what's happened so far. We got a little sidetracked tonight, and I am sorry, everybody.
When it comes to this stuff, we could talk all night.
Oh, and we do most of the time.
We are at heart true crime junkies.
I literally think I've gotten 4 hours of sleep the past 2 nights because of this case. And it's so we can get the information out and try to squash the rumors. And it's super hard to squash them right now because there's not a lot coming in. So
once we not catch a case, but once we develop a group for a case, we do our best to honor the victims, to honor the victims' families. We know, we understand that Grace's family is also going through a lot, whether she's guilty or innocent. They are catching harassment. We do our best to honor everyone involved, but if it comes out that someone's guilty, we're going to dig into that.
Yep, agreed. But you need to keep an open mind. Grace right now is not a person of interest or a suspect. That has been brought out by law enforcement. Law enforcement has not done anything. There's nobody in custody right now. As far as we know, right. There's nobody in custody. Could Grace went in for questioning? Absolutely. She probably has. And that is standard protocol, is the last people to see anybody. They always go in for questioning. And it's again, standard protocol. It doesn't make her guilty. It doesn't make her innocent. It's hard for people. I get it. It's hard to...
The statement she's made, she's going to be questioned.
Yeah, well, and she was one of the last people to be with her, you know? So,
Yeah.
the people at the
Paighton
bar
left
were
stuff in her
probably
car.
questioned, you know? I mean, it's going to be anybody and everybody they can question, they will.
Well, there has been a post put out that if you were in that area on that night between, was it 6 and midnight, to look at your camera to see if you have any pictures. If you do, send them in. They need help. They need tips.
Yeah. Do you have the phone number for them that we can drop? Probably not, because I know I don't.
I do. Hang on.
Let's drop the phone number. And if you guys have anything, if you live in the area or, you know, just check your cameras for that night. You never know what way she took home or anything. You know, we don't know what happened or transpired. So just check, and it's only, you know, a few hours of your time, you know, if that, you know. I would say the hours are probably more of in between 10 and, you know, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. That's what I would do anyway.
For looking at your pictures. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, for looking for, tips for her. I mean, if you can go longer, absolutely go longer. But, you know, that 10 o'clock mark, or that 10:45-ish mark of when she supposedly left the bar is the big one, especially if you live in that area.
So, yeah, what I would suggest, I have the numbers here that you can call if you do have any pictures of that night, or if you do have any tips, if you saw anything suspicious, if you heard anything, even if it's the smallest thing can break these cases wide open, because it might not be relevant to you because you don't have everything law enforcement has, but that might be the missing puzzle piece they need. Yep. So if you think that you have something, you can call the Birmingham police. I would ask for the detective working on the Paighton Houston case. Most likely they'll transfer you, and if you get an answering machine, leave a message, leave your name, leave your number. Say you have something relevant you think may be relevant and may not be. The Birmingham police phone number is 205-297-8413, or you can call Crime Stoppers, and their number is 205-254-7777.
And Crime Stoppers is 100% anonymous. So you do not have to give your name. You do not have to give a phone number. You don't have to give anything. So you don't have to be tied to the case if you don't want to be. Obviously, it's important to get all information and not just a little spurt of what you have. But try to help the family if you are around that area. Pull up your security footage if you have any. And, yeah, I mean.
And if you're of the mindset that you don't want to be a tattletale or snitches get stitches, just think if this was your daughter, your sister. Just think if she was missing, you would want all the information. And again, you can ask to remain anonymous. In this case, snitches don't get stitches. A family could get closure.
Right.
Okay, so all of our hearts at True Crime Junkies go out to Paighton's friends and family. They're wishing you all nothing but well wishes as you mourn the loss of this vibrant young woman. If you would like to discuss Paighton and her story or your story, how you might be involved or anything relevant, you can message either Milena or myself, and we will arrange for an interview with you. Have a great night, True Crime Junkies.